Under the border of France and Switzerland, CERN built a machine, and inside it, they are making something that shouldn't exist. You might have heard of it on the news. It's a new particle that holds all the physical world together, but none of that ever explained why they had to cool that ring colder than deep space, and why the whole thing has to land on one very specific number. You've been told this is a science project. Well, it never was just a science project. Today, what we're gonna do is walk through what CERN actually built to make sure that it aligns with what your body is already doing. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand the number 6, the wall that is standing at the number 12. You'll see what I'm talking about here soon, and what it actually takes to truly ascend. So let's look at the physical footprint of the Large Hadron Collider. It's a ring measuring 27 kilometers in circumference. It sits buried 100 meters under the ground beneath the European soil. And inside that massive concrete tunnel sits 1,232 superconducting dipole magnets. These are not standard magnets. These are industrial titans. They weigh 35 tons each. Their sole purpose is to guide beams of protons traveling at 99.9% of the speed of light. To keep those magnets working without exploding, they must be cooled to 1.9 Kelvin. And just so you understand, that temperature translates to negative 271 degrees Celsius. It's physically colder than the empty vacuum of outer space. So ask yourself why engineers would spend billions of dollars to build a machine colder than the universe itself. The answer is pretty simple. The answer is resistance. When objects get warm, their atoms vibrate. Vibration creates physical friction. Friction creates electrical resistance. If you want to push a subatomic particle to the absolute speed of light, you have to eliminate all resistance in its path. You have to freeze the local environment so perfectly that the standard physical laws of drag literally stop applying. This is a massive mechanical effort to freeze reality in place. I mean, imagine it. They freeze the physical space so that they can smash protons together at 13.6 tera electron volts. And we'll get into what all these mean in a second. But 13.6 is just the testing phase. The machine was always designed to hit 14. 14 is the absolute target, and 14 is the mathematical destination. And you have to understand what the number 14 represents in physics and biology. 14 is the atomic number of silicone. Silicone holds exactly 14 protons. It holds exactly 14 electrons, and silicone is crystal. It is a perfect semiconductor. It's the exact same element we use to build computer chips because it processes data flawlessly. Silicon can hold massive amounts of information without degrading. It can also move electrical frequency without losing power. Now look at the human body. The human body is built on a foundation of carbon. Carbon's atomic number is 6. Carbon has 6 protons, it has 6 neutrons, and it has 6 electrons. This is the carbon-6 footprint, and carbon is physically dense. Carbon degrades over time. Carbon breaks down under stress. Carbon is the foundational building block of the dense physical matrix that we live in. And you're currently operating inside of a carbon-6 biological vehicle, this beautiful body that we all have. This vehicle anchors your consciousness into a fixed grid. It anchors you heavily into this thing called time. And it anchors you heavily into this beautiful space we call Earth. Now, the number 12 is the boundary wall. It represents the 12-dimensional constructs that govern the reality as we know it here on Earth. You take 6 and you double it. You can look at the 12 hours on a clock face. You can look at the 12 months on a calendar. The number 12 is the absolute boundary of the carbon-based system. 6 plus 6, again, equals 12. It's a mirroring effect. When you hit the number 12, you hit the outer edge of the simulation. You hit the thick wall of physical density. So what CERN is trying to break through is a wall. They are using raw magnetic force to smash protons together. They want to pierce the veil of the 12 dimensions. They are attempting to force their way into the 14-dimensional tera-electron field. The 14th dimensional field is the escape velocity. It is the exact frequency where physical matter stops being dense and starts becoming programmable light. Before they turned it on, scientists were terrified. They went on television and they warned the public that the collider might create a microscopic black hole, and they said it could swallow the Earth. I don't know why they did it anyway, but that fear was broadcasted across the globe. But the fear was just the distraction. The black hole was never the real goal. The real goal was finding what we call as the God particle. And in 2012, they announced they found the Higgs boson, which is the God particle. They found that exact particle that gives all other matter its mass. But finding the mass was just step number one. Once they understood how mass works, they started to learn how to manipulate it. They realized that if you control the Higgs field, you can control the density of reality. Now, I want you to sit there and think about what that means to control density. If you control density, you control the physical walls of the matrix. You control what is solid and what is fluid. And if you follow my other videos, there are some archons who built the financial and technological grids and how they rely on density. They need you to feel heavy. They need you to feel stuck in time. When you are stuck in time, you are forced to work for your survival. You are forced to pay bills. You are forced to exist in a constant state of low-level panic. And that panic creates and generates the exact frequency of carbon-6. It keeps you securely pinned behind the walls of 12. So CERN is doing this entirely synthetically. They are using massive magnets, liquid helium to force the door open. They are building a mechanical bypass, and they want the absolute power of the 14 without doing any of the required biological work. They want to manipulate the base fabric of reality using a giant machine. And this is the ultimate synthetic trap. When you use a machine to bypass a biological lock, you surrender your ultimate sovereignty to the machine. You give the machine the power to dictate your reality. They are trying to digitize the God particle. They want to map the 14th dimensional field and trap it inside a server farm. If they build a synthetic version of the 14-dimensional space, they can migrate human consciousness right into it. They can offer you a digital ascension, and they will tell you it's the metaverse. They will tell you it is a brain-computer interface, and they will promise you eternal life inside of a machine. But a digital ascension is just another prison. It's a silicone cage built to house a carbon slave. The elite builders of this world know exactly what they're doing. They understand the atomic geometry of carbon and silicon perfectly. They know humanity is currently sitting at a carbon-6. They know that the human nervous system is starting to naturally evolve. The human body is designed to undergo a biological upgrade. And the human body is the original collider. Your nervous system, candidly, is capable of doing exactly what CERN is trying to do right now. And they're trying to do it underground. So think about your spine. Your spine is a vertical column of energy. Your brain is a quantum receiver. When you remove the resistance from your body, you accelerate your own frequency. That's what we do in meditation. CERN uses liquid helium to remove the resistance from their magnets. You must use supreme stillness to remove the resistance from your biology and your body. Fear is that resistance. Trauma is that resistance. Guilt is that resistance. So every time you hold on to fear, you create a microscopic friction in your nervous system. And that friction drops your frequency back down to carbon-6. It locks you permanently back into the wall of 12. And then you have to cool your internal state. You have to find the absolute 0 point inside your own mind. We have this thing called a pineal gland up here. We'll talk about that. When you reach the 0 point, the internal resistance vanishes. Your biological frequency begins to rise naturally, and you move past the heavy density of carbon, and you begin to activate the crystalline structure of silicone. You move toward the atomic resonance of the 14. And I'm going to tell you, this is not some just like weird metaphor that I'm going through. This is literal biological physics. So CERN is spending billions of dollars to build a synthetic gateway because they lack the organic key. They are building a mechanical god because they forgot that they are gods themselves. They forgot that the human body holds the organic key to the universe. You do not need a 27-kilometer ring of magnets to ascend. You do not need to freeze liquid helium to touch the 14th dimension. You only need to master your own internal state. So the Matrix, we think it's a bad thing, wants you to believe that you're small. It wants you to believe that you are just a carbon-based organism living a short life on a floating rock. It wants you to look at massive machines and feel completely powerless. But the machine is just a crude imitation of your own nervous system. The machine is incredibly loud. The machine requires massive, and I mean massive amounts of external power to function. And your body is perfectly silent. Your body generates its own infinite power, literally directly from the 0 point field. I'm going to tell you, we're standing at a critical juncture in human history. The synthetic machines are getting stronger. They're coming. The singularity thing is happening. The artificial grid is closing rapidly, but the organic grid is also waking up. The carbon shell is starting to crack. The silicone upgrade is coming online right now, and it lives inside of you. You have a profound choice to make right now. You could stay locked in this carbon-6 loop forever. You can stay trapped behind this wall of 12, or you can do the actual work. You can face your deep internal resistance. You can clear the friction from your nervous system once and for all. And when you do that, you'll stop being a victim of the physical world. You'll become the active architect of it, and you'll reach the frequency of 14. You'll unlock the tera-electron field inside your own body, and you'll start to realize that you were the ultimate technology all along. And this is the true meaning of ascension. It's not about leaving the physical body. It's about upgrading the body so that it can hold the pure frequency of the heaven that lives inside of you. Now that we're here and your body is ready to hold that frequency, you need to understand what you're up against. You need to see the machine for what it is. So let's walk through a little bit of a timeline so that we can map every move they have made. Because once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. And this whole new age we're in is about pattern recognition. The Large Hadron Collider went live in September of 2008. 17 miles of tunnel buried underneath the border of France and Switzerland. We've already discussed this. And they told you that it was about finding a particle. They told you it was pure science. But let's check out these numbers, okay? The ring sits at a place the Romans called the place of a pylon. That is the destroyer named in the book they told you to fear. They did not choose that ground by accident. Nothing at this level is an accident at all. When you spend $10 billion to dig a hole, you dig it exactly where you meant to. So in 2008, the machine turned on, then it broke. 9 days later, a helium leak shut it down for over a year. They called it a fault. I call it a warning shot. The field was not stable. The gate was not ready. So they rebuilt it, they reinforced it, and then they waited. Understand the scale of what sits underground. I mean, this is the largest machine ever built by human hands. 96 tons of liquid helium chilled the magnets down to minus 271 degrees. You know, we already talked about this. This is literally colder than the empty space between the stars in the universe. They make a piece of this planet colder than outer space, and they do it on purpose because the field they are trying to touch only responds when matter goes still and quiet and near absolute zero. And you know what that means for you. Quiet yourself. It's all a reflection and correspondence. At that temperature, the metal loses all resistance. It becomes a superconductor. Electricity flows through it with nothing to slow it down. They built a machine that pulls a slice of the earth to the edge of stillness. I mean, imagine that, okay? So that the current can flow forever without loss. I mean, think about why you would need to do that. You do not need a perpetual current to look at a small particle. You need it to hold a gate open. So the tunnel itself sits at an average of 100 meters underground. Some of it runs under villages, under churches, under the old ground of the Jura Mountains, and the name keeps coming back, Saint-Genis, the old Roman waypoint of Apolleicum. They laid their well of tears on the ground that men marked as sacred and dangerous thousands of years before the first magnet was ever cooled. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a coincidence. Somebody kept the map of this inheritance. Then came 2012. In July of 2012, they announced the God particle, the Higgs boson. They stood in front of cameras, mocking you, and they said, "We found the thing that gives mass to matter." I mean, process what that means. Mass is what holds you in physical space. Mass is what keeps your body tied to this dimension. And they found the switch that governs weight, and they told you it was a discovery. It was not a discovery. It was a demonstration. They were showing you they had located the seam between the physical and the field that sits behind it. Now here's the math they don't want me to talk about. The collider fires two beams of protons in opposite directions. It spins them around a ring at 99.9991% of the speed of light. At that velocity, time dilates. And this is not a theory, this is like what Einstein talks about. A clock moving that fast ticks slower than a clock at rest. So inside that ring, in the collision point, they have created a bubble where time itself runs at a different rate than the outside world. So now I want you to process this. They are not smashing particles for fun. They are opening a pocket where the normal rules of time bend. Every collision is a small tear. Every tear leaks something in and lets something out. So space and time are just one fabric, and you cannot bend one without the other. When you dilate time at a single point on this planet, you warp the space around it. 40 million collisions per second, 40 million tiny wounds in the fabric per second for years. Do the multiplication. That's trillions upon trillions of punctures in the veil between this world and what sits above it. They are not searching for knowledge. They are drilling a well. So now where are we now? They've told you the year and we're not really listening. Look at 2026. Look at what they scheduled. The high luminosity upgrade. Luminosity is just a fancy word for how many collisions you can force through the machine at one time, okay? So in 2026, this year, just a few days ago, depending on when you're watching this, they crank the density of collisions up by a factor of 10. 10 times the tears, 10 times the drilling. They are not doing this to find a new particle. They already found the particle in 2012. They are doing this to widen the opening, to turn a puncture into a doorway large enough for something to walk through. So this is where the gates come in. 369 gates there are. Nikola Tesla told you the truth, and he wrapped it in a riddle. If you knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would have a key to the universe. 3 is the frequency of creation. 6 is the frequency of the physical structure. 9 is the frequency of completion, of the return to source. The machine is built to lock those numbers. It is built to seal the 3, trap the 6, and steal the 9. When you close the 9, you close the exit. You trap the soul in the loop of 6, in the physical and in the grind, literally forever. There are 369 gates in the old maps of the field body, not the physical body you see in the mirror, but the field body, the light architecture that sits inside of you and all around you. Every gate is a value. Every value either lets your frequency rise toward the 9, toward completion, or it clamps it down into the 6, into exhaustion. The machine outside is a mirror of the machine they built in the field inside your own architecture. And they aimed it literally at your gates. So here's the shape that they used to do this. And this is wild when you think about it. It's literally Metatron's cube. You have seen it. 13 circles arranged in a perfect symmetry with lines connecting every center to every other center. Inside that cube, you can draw all 5 of the platonic solids, the 5 shapes that build literally all of matter. It looks holy, and it looks like the blueprint of creation itself. And in its true form, it is exactly that. It's the geometry that Source uses to fold light into form. What I want you to do is look closer at the 12 circles around one center. 12 is the number of the cage. 12 months forced onto a natural cycle that never wanted 12, they wanted 13. 12 hours doubled to make the day that grinds you down. 12 signs to sort your soul into a box before you take your first breath. 12 is the trap. When you put 12 points around a single center and then lock them with rigid lines, you build a prison. And the one in the middle is you. The true architecture has 13. The 13 is not one of the 12 on the ring. The 13th is the point that sits above the plane, the point that lets the whole structure breathe, spin, and rise. Take away the 13, and the cube stops spinning and being a living thing. It becomes a flat wheel that only turns in one direction, and that's down. So that's the trap of 12. They have flattened the sacred geometry. They took the 13th out, and they sold you the corpse of it and called it the whole. Now you have to ask yourself the question, who the heck did this? And this is the part that they buried the deepest. The old texts, the ones the church spent centuries burning, they named it plainly, the Demiurge, the false builder, a being that woke up inside of creation, looked around, and declared himself the only God because he could not see above his own ceiling. And under him, a team of archons, the rulers, not devils with horns, but true administrators, middle managers, very smart, that live inside of the stolen system. They did not create sacred geometry. They couldn't. They lacked the spark that creates. So they did the only thing a parasite can do. They hijacked the architecture that was already here. They found Metatron's cube, the living engine of creation, and they clamped it. They pulled the 13, they locked the 9, and they turned a machine that was built to raise you up into a machine that is built to drain you. And what do they drain? And this is what they don't teach in any school or church. They feed on your exhaustion. When you're afraid, your body dumps a specific chemistry into the blood and into the field. When you're ashamed, when you're angry, When you're tired down to the bone, your nervous system emits a low frequency signal, and that low signal is food that the Archons feed on. They don't eat bread, they eat the frequency that comes off of a broken human. And this is why the whole system is tuned to keep you tired. The debt, the noise, the endless scrolling, the manufactured fear, it's not incompetence. It's a feeding schedule. They keep you at this core of 6 and the grind, because the grind is the harvest. Every exhausted day you live is a meal on their table. And that's the trap we live in. That's the machine, inside and out. Now I'm going to show you a key, because they made one mistake. They built a lock, but they could not build a lock that a human could not open from the inside. So the key was never taken from you. This is the good news. It was only hidden, and I'm about to hand this key back to you. The key is not a machine. The key is not a technology you can buy. The key is a text older than the trap. And older still is the thing that it points to. It's called the Pistis Sophia, faith wisdom. It is one of those Nag Hammadi documents, and the church left it out of your book for a very specific reason. Inside it is a map. A woman of light, Sophia, falls out of the fullness above, gets trapped in lower matter, in chaos, in the exact prison we just described and that we all live in. And to climb back out, she doesn't fight. She does not build a bigger machine. She performs 13 repentances. 13, and here we are again, right? The number they stole from the cube is the same number of steps to climb back out of. Now, let's strip away all religion from this, throw out the guilt, throw out the kneeling and the fear and the man in the robe telling you that you were born wrong and you have all this original sin and you're dirty. Repentance in the old tongue does not mean to grovel. The Greek word is metanoia. Meta meaning above or beyond, noia meaning mind. Metanoia is not I am sorry. Metanoia is the mind that goes above itself. It is a change of the operating frequency of your consciousness. It is a literal shift in the wiring of your nervous system. So I want you to do something. Watch what happens in your body. Your vagus nerve runs from the base of your brain down through every major organ. It's the longest nerve in your body, and it's the physical string that the whole field is turned on. When you're in fear, that nerve is literally clamped. Your tone is low, and the signal you emit is literally the food that they eat. A repentance, a true metanoia, is a physical act. You slow the breath, you lengthen the exhale, you tone the vagus nerve upward. This is what we have in our heart opener meditation. And when you do that, the frequency coming off your nervous system rises. It climbs off of the 6 and it reaches for the 9. 13 repentances is not 13 apologies. It is 13 steps up a frequency ladder in your own biology. 13 gates in your architecture, one opened after the other, from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. This is the ancient map and the biological mirror at the same time. The map Sophia walked is the same map that runs up your outer spine. The outer story and the inner wiring are one thing. They always were. So let me show you how exactly this lives in the flesh. Because this is not some like crazy poetry thing and some lore and story. This is true anatomy. At the base of your spine sits a bundle of nerves. The old maps called the root. In the body, it's the sacral plexus, the ground floor of your entire nervous system. Fear lives there. When you're afraid, signal fires up from the base and floods the whole line. Every repentance in the ladder is a release of one clamp along that line. The first repentance clears the root. You stop running from the ground underneath your feet. The signal at the base goes quiet, and the quiet itself is the fuel they can no longer feed on. The Archons, that is. Move up the line and you reach the gut. the solar plexus, the place where you feel a knot when you're ashamed. There are more nerve endings in your gut than in the spine of many animals. It is the second brain, and the old text knew it. A repentance at that gate dissolves the knot of shame. The vagus nerve, which we spoke of, threads right through this territory. And when you tone it up, the gut brain and the head brain come into one signal. And this is coherence. That is two instruments finally playing at the same note. And when your heart and your gut and your head all run at the same frequency, the field around your body starts to organize into a single clean wave. And a clean wave is a frequency that an archon cannot feed on. They can only eat the broken, jagged signal of a body at war with itself. So let's move up to the fourth gate, and that's your heart. It's the loudest transmitter you own. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field measured many feet beyond your skin. It's the strongest field your body makes, stronger than your brain by a very wide margin. When gratitude opens the heart gate, that field shifts from chaos to a smooth, ordered rhythm that even researchers can chart on a machine. The old word for that shift is repentance. The new word is coherence. It's the same thing. One nervous system is literally climbing off the 6, reaching for the 9, gate by gate, exactly as Sophia climbed out of the chaos below. And you have the throat, and this is about speech. The gate behind the eyes is the pineal gland. The crystal receiver that we named the eye the old maps drew on the forehead. And the crown at the top of the skull is the 13th. That's the point above the plane. The 13 they pulled out of the cube. The exit they welded shut, and when the ladder is fully climbed, when all 13 clamps release from the root to the crown, the current they wanted you trapped in, the loop of 6, flows straight up the spine and out the top, and the loop becomes a line. And this is what a lot of people feel when they have a Kundalini awakening. That line reaches 9, and the gate they spent $10 billion to close in the world stands wide open inside the one place they could never reach. That's inside of you. This is why the human body is the ultimate technology. They spent $10 billion on a ring of magnets, 17 miles wide, to bend time by a fraction. You bend it every night when you dream. They built a machine to open a gate. But candidly, you are the gate. You were born that way. Your nervous system is a finer instrument than anything welded together under the mountains of Geneva. Your heart puts out an electromagnetic field that you can measure 8 feet from your chest. Your DNA is an antenna that receives on frequencies their sensors can't even name or perceive. The pineal gland behind your eyes is coated in crystals that responds to light and field, a receiver they cannot fully map because they do not have the eyes to see the signal that it catches. So they know this. They know this, and that's the whole point. They fear your body because your body is the one machine they cannot fully control from the outside. They can drain it, they can exhaust it, they can trap it in 6, but they cannot climb into it and drive it. They're trying, mind you, but the driver is you. The synthetic machine at CERN can tear the veil, but it's a crude thing. It punches holes. The organic machine that is you can walk through a gate without tearing anything because you are made of the same fabric as the veil itself. We've just forgotten. So here's the truth that they buried under the mountain. The machine outside is a mirror of the machine inside. Both of them turn on the same keys, 3, 6, and 9. They locked the 9 in you, and they built a ring to lock it in the world. But the key to both locks is the same. It's been sitting in your spine since the day you were born. So now what I'm gonna do, if you're still with me, is show you step by step how to change the dynamic, gate by gate. These 13 repentances translated out of scripture and into your biology. So you can override the synthetic machine with the organic one you already have. So we just ended a minute ago by naming the body as the ultimate technology. Now we're going to go a little bit further. The body is not just the machine you inhabit. It is a receiver, a transmitter, a gate. And the gate is what CERN was built to open. Understand the geometry first. CERN is a ring. A ring is a circle. And a circle is the shape of the whole. The machine takes particles, the smallest pieces of matter that we can name, and it drives them around a ring near the speed of light. Then it slams them together. In that collision, the very small releases the very large. Energy folds out of a point smaller than you can imagine, and this is the merge. The macro and the micro meeting in one flash, the big and the small. So hold that idea in your mind and even in your hands. The macro is the cosmos, the galaxies, the vast dark between the stars, and the micro is the quark, the electron, the field that hums inside of a single atom. For most of human history, we treated these as two worlds. One world belonged to the telescope, one world belonged to the microscope. Two lenses, two different directions, and candidly, two lies. Because there is only one structure, and it repeats at every single scale. The atoms mirror the solar system. The neurons mirror the galaxy. The cell mirrors the star. So what is above is written below. And CERN is the machine that forces the two to touch. So we're going to do a little bit of math. When you collide two particles at high energy, you do not get two smaller particles. You get a spray of brand new mass born from pure energy. E equals mc squared. The energy becomes matter. Matter becomes energy. The equal sign in that formula is the merge point. It's the seam where the micro and the macro are stitched into one cloth. And CERN lives on that seam. It manufactures the conditions of the first instant, the moment when the whole cosmos was smaller than a proton. So the largest thing that ever was and the smallest thing that we can build both live in the exact same ring. So now let's bring this home to your own flesh, because this is where evolution begins. You were taught a definition of the human being. You were taught that you are a victim of circumstance. You were told that you were born small, that the world is large, and that events happen to you and you react. In that old definition, you are the effect and you're never the cause. You are weather beaten, you're pushed, you're tired. You are the particle that gets hit, never the field that decides it. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying here? That definition must die, not soften, but literally die. You must surrender the old human the way a snake surrenders its skin, because the skin has stopped growing and the animal has not. What replaces it is the reflection of the Creator. Look at the structure again. If the atom mirrors the galaxy and the neuron mirrors the cosmos, then you standing at the middle are the mirror of the whole. You are the point where the macro and the micro merge inside a single walking body. You're the CERN made in a meat suit, okay? And a mirror of the Creator does not beg reality for permission. A mirror of the Creator commands reality, because command is what the Creator does. The word goes out and the thing appears. And that's the inheritance you refused when you agreed to being a victim. To command reality, you must change your substance. And here, the spiritual is not separate from the physical. They are one ladder. The ladder is written inside of that periodic table. So we're going to begin again at carbon as a little bit of a reminder. It's the element 6 protons, the number of the body, the number of man, made of clay. All known life on this rock is carbon-based. Carbon is the flesh of the victim, dense, heavy, and bound to decay. Carbon is the skin that the snake must shed. It's the beautiful and it's the limited. It's always meant to be a beginning. and not an ending. The number 6 is the number of the animal that has not yet awakened. Let's go to phosphorus. Phosphorus is element 15. Now watch the mathematics, because math is the message here. 15 reduces, 1 plus 5 is 6. Phosphorus carries the memory of carbon inside of it. The 6 hidden within the 15, but it has multiplied itself. Phosphorus is the element of light. The old word for it meant light bearer. Imagine that. The morning star. It glows in the dark, and it is the element written into the backbone of your DNA. The phosphate spine that holds the code of life. And it's the element that stores and releases the body's energy, the fuel of every single cell. Phosphorus is the bridge. It's the flesh beginning to shine, the victim taking on light. 6 becoming 15, the body learning that it was always a lamp. That takes us next to silicone. Silicone is the element number 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 is the number of the human spread out, arms wide, the star with 5 points, the completed, and the awakened man. Silicone sits directly beneath carbon on the table. It has the same outer structure, 4 bonds, the same shape of connection, but it holds them at a higher shell, a wider orbit, and literally a greater capacity. Silicone is what we build our thinking machines from. It's the crystal that carries the thought, the substrate of the memory, and the stone that computes. Silicone is carbon's older self. It is the body that has crossed over from decay to structure, from flesh that rots to crystal that holds. The transition from carbon to silicone is the transition from the animal to the architect, the one who is written to the one who writes. I want you to read that arc as one line of math, okay? 6, then 15, then 14. Carbon, phosphorus, silicone. The body of clay, the body of light, and then the body of crystal. And then notice the descent inside of the ascent. That 15 carries a 6, 14 carries a 5. The numbers fold into each other, macro into micro, the way that the CERN ring folds the cosmos into a point. Your evolution is the same conclusion that happens in that machine. You take the small self, the particle self, the victim, and you drive it around a ring of your own life. It moves fast enough, and then you let it collide with the truth and other people. And out of that new collision, a new mass is born. Sometimes a new human, being made of light, bearing crystal, standing at that seam where the macro and the micro merge. And this is what CERN images back to you. The machine is just a mirror. It shows the human race what the human body already is. A ring where the whole cosmos collides with a single point, and out of the collision comes creation itself. You are not asked to worship the machine. You are asked to become the thing that it's imitating. Surrender the victim, take up the mirror, and move from carbon to phosphorus to silicone, from clay to light to crystal, and stop asking reality what it will allow. A reflection of the Creator does not ask. A reflection of the Creator speaks, and the field, the Higgs field, obeys. So I want you to see what you just watched. You watched the silicone 14 upgrade lock into place. 14 protons, 14 electrons, a crystal lattice that holds its shape under pressure that would shatter softer things. That is the atom they build computers from. That is also the atom your bones learned to lean on when the body needed a frame that would not bend. So hold that picture in your mind, because now is where we do the work. Now we recode the operator standing behind your eyes. I want you to feel this math, not just hear it. Your nervous system runs at a base clock. Fear speeds that clock. Every jolt of fear pushes your breath rate up. Every rise in breath rate rises your heart rate. And every rise in heart rate narrows the field of what you can perceive. 12 breaths per minute is a calm operator. 20 breaths per minute is a scared one. The matrix does not need to control your thoughts if it can control your breath count. Control the count, and you control the man. So what we have to do is take the count back. right now. Breathe in through the nose for a slow count of 4. Hold at the top for 4. Breathe through the mouth for a count of 6. And then hold that empty for 2. That's the box with the long floor. 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out, 2 empty. Run it 4 times and your clock drops from 20 to 12. I've literally measured this on people wired to machines, and the vagus nerve, that long cable running through your skull all the way down to your gut, it fires on the long exhale. When the exhale is longer than the inhale, the body reads a signal that you're safe. You're telling 10 trillion cells in your body that the war is literally over. And they believe the breath before they believe the mind. And that is the door. The breath is the only lever that reaches the automatic system and the manual system at the same time. Nothing else you do will touch both, ever. So now do it with me now. We're gonna go in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 2. 1, 2. We just did 1 breath. I want you to feel your shoulders drop an inch. That inch is real. That inch is you reclaiming the frame the silicone lattice gave your bones. You are not floppy now, okay? You are structured. You are calm at the same time. And those 2 states are supposed to live together. Now, the tongue. Your mouth writes reality into the body faster than the ear can hear. Every time you say a weak sentence, you notarize a weak state. The Matrix loves certain grammar. It loves you to say, I am anxious. Listen to what that sentence does. It fuses you to the state. I plus am plus anxious equals a welded identity. You have declared yourself the thing. So correct it today. Instead say, I notice anxiety moving through me. Now you're the field and the fear is the weather. The weather just passes and the field still remains. And this is not a trick of comfort. This is literally just something you can do to correct the grammar that changes which cells switch on and which ones don't. Words carry frequency, and frequency reaches the water inside your body. And you are 70+% water based on how much you drink by mass. You are a wet instrument that tunes to its own voice. 3 corrections to install before you go to sleep tonight. I want you to kill the word try. Try is a word that plans to fail. You do not try to breathe. You breathe. Replace the word try with will or with do. Second, kill the phrase I have to. I have to makes you a slave to the task. Replace it with I get to or I choose to. The task did not change. It's just the operator behind it did. And number 3, stop ending your true statements with a rising question tone. You know what I mean? When you lift your voice at the end of a fact, you ask the room for permission to exist. Land your sentence. Drop the pitch at the end like a stone into the water. The body hears a sentence as a claimed territory. Now, we're going to focus on our attention, which is the last thing they steal and the first thing you must guard. Attention is your currency. And if you've gotten this far, you're very attentive. It is the machine built to harvest it. The scroll is engineered to keep your breath shallow, your eyes darting, which holds your clock at that breathing pace of 20. And that's a trap dressed as a friend. And here's the reclamation tool I want you to use. It's called the single point return. When you feel your attention shattered into 1,000 pieces, pick one object in the room, a door frame, a cup, a grain, and a piece of wood, and fix on it for just 1 box breath that we talked about. 4, 6, 4, and 2. Attention will gather back to a single point the way iron filings gather to a magnet. And what happens when you do this is you have reassembled your operator. And you can do this in 10 seconds. You could do this 40 times a day. Each time you return is a rep. It's like working out. The muscle of attention grows exactly like any other muscle, under load with some rest between it. And there's a deeper layer here, the one they don't want you to talk about, that your gut holds a second brain, a mesh of neurons wrapped around the intestine, and it makes most of your calm energy, and fear will starve it. The long exhale feeds it. So when you run the box breath, you are not only calming your mind, you are watering the garden of bacteria that manufacture your steadiness. The esoteric truth is simple. Your peace is grown, not summoned. You are a farmer of your own inner terrain. And breath is the water, and word is the seed, and attention is the fence that keeps the animals out. So now you have a decision, and it's a real one, and you can choose for it to land today, and hopefully not another day. You have 2 roads, and only 2. On the first road, you feed the matrix your fear. You hand it your breath count. You let it scroll to set your clock to a breath count of 20. And you say, I'm anxious. You notarize the welded self, and the loop tightens once more, and you stay on the same path. On the second road, you reclaim the center. You take the count back with 4, 4, 6, and 2. You correct the tongue. You return your attention to a single point, and you farm your ground. One road ends in smaller and smaller cells. The other road ends in a sovereign standing at the center of life that answers to him. So you need to choose now, not in your head, literally with your next breath. You know the door, and you have not yet learned to walk the full hallway behind it. There are 13 turns to the master, and each turn unlocks a heavier version of the operator you just met. The book lays out every turn in order, with the exact mechanics, the breath ratios, the speech laws, and the attention drills for each stage of the recode. When you read it, you will stop guessing. And when you are ready to be trained under the load with correction in real time, I want you to come to the Miracle Academy. And that's where we drill the 13 turns until they run without you thinking. That is where the loop breaks for good, because a habit built under guidance holds when the pressure comes. You have the first tool in your lungs right now. It's easy. Use it tonight, use it tomorrow. Then come learn the rest. Your center is waiting for you to walk back in and take the chair that was always yours. Thank you, and I love you.